Yes, Dad. Rowan looked proud and teased his dad. Mummy will be unhappy if you bully me. Jungkook smiled slightly. This man actually dared to threaten him. He actually had a urge to beat this little guy off of you. No, no. Chungu glanced at Rowan, although that face was asking for a beating, but it reminded him that he had got this little guy so hardly just endure it. He is a family man now. It's his own genes. Chungkook put down his son and rubbed his head. This is my little bean, and of course, I will take care of him. Why are you worrying about? If it was old version of him, then how could he say or do such a thing? Perhaps even he himself didn't think that he would have such a day. He listened to his wife's every word and willing to take care of his son and be nanny father and focus on nursing child. What are you blaming for not paying attention on you? You raised your brow slightly. Jungkook walked behind you and wrapped his hands around your waist. Focus, don't fall. Rowoon, don't let mummy walk alone. Maybe it's new for people to hear that number one tycoon in the business world will be a loving husband and great father. He became the person who have his family and he is responsible on it. I know. Now having a wife is really scary. Now you are married to the most wonderful man. He's also really the best person for you. A good match for each other. Like real opposites, but in case of opposites that are blending well together. Mummy, Daddy said you can't run around. Although you felt little uncomfortable in your heart the way both your men treated you, it made you not know whether to laugh or cry. When Jungkook returned and closed the door, he found that two people in the room were still awake. He smiled and walked over. Why are you always not sleeping yet? I am keeping an eye on Mummy and not letting her run around. You're speechless. Then why don't you stay awake and keep an eye while I sleep? You pouted. Rowoon looked at you quietly, then covered himself with blankets. Daddy, I'm going to sleep now. He covered himself, pretending to fall asleep that fast. It's better for you to sleep early. You are pregnant now. You don't think too much. Jungkook walked with wet towel to wipe your face. What are you doing? I can do that myself. But baby, you don't be furious all the time. His movements were careful. Don't know how many generations of good fortune this has cultivated to be able to get this woman to treat him and bear his arrogance before. Last trimester, Rowan is sensitive when it comes to his mother. So how can he stay calm after his mother was sent to the hospital? Jenny was little worried and keep hugged him and checking Rowan several times. If you are sleepy, lie down on me. When we will arrive to the hospital, I will wake you up. Rowan rubbed his eyes. Aunt Nini, I'm not sleepy. Jenny smiled and gently stroked his head. Good boy. Your mummy is okay. You were sent to the operation theater. Chunko could only lean against the wall and wait for you to come back. He looked tall and his figure was somehow lonely. After Rowan arrived to the hospital, he ran towards Jungkook's side like a tadpoles and quietly stuck to his side. Daddy, what happened to mummy? Jungkook didn't expect his son to come as well. He was slightly surprised, and a trace of hostility flashed in his dark eyes, looking at Jenny. Who brought Rowan here? But it instantly disappeared, not wanting to hurt a child. Jungkook squared down and picked up his son. Mummy will be okay. The feeling of going up and down a lot from being elected to feeling very down. It's cheerful but overwhelmed. Congratulations, it's baby boy. Doctor announced and put the baby on your chest. Chunko couldn't help but be all emotional. It's not easy for him to see how much pain you have endured to make him father of two boys. With his trembling hand, Chungkook was guided to cut the umbilical cord, completely separating baby from your body's part. The newborn baby started to cry after outside's air hit on his body. Such a little life. Going from pregnancy to parenthood is a major life change, physically and emotionally. You felt like your life was over after having babies, but this is the best feeling ever. You did great job. Jungkook leaned in to kiss your head. Your baby is taken to another part of the room to have some oxygen and to clean. They will be brought back to you as soon as possible. After enduring bone cracking pain, you deserve treatment and you are so hungry. You want to eat something spicy and greasy, meaty things. Finally, baby is at home. You get discharged from the hospital after 3 days, and many people are there to welcome you and your baby. Your brother Kim Sok Jin, Jenny, Minho, and Rovon all are gathering and looking at newbie. He's so cute. What? We gonna name this newbie? All's concern was on it. While Chungkook brought you some soup to drink, you're so tired already, but whenever you try to sleep, it's like baby's crying sound is echoing. Baby Onwo won't jump happily after his baby brother make noises. Little baby is happy to see many people around him, but next second he will start to cry. You're sleeping at night and seem to hear the child crying. When you open your eyes, you saw Jungkook shushing baby and preparing to carry the child out. The posture of him holding the baby was little strange, as if he's afraid of crushing the baby by his muscular arm. Baby's crying became louder, and you heard the clumsy coaxing sound. Don't cry, don't cry. You helplessly lifted the blanket and sat up, reaching out to him, bringing him over. Maybe he's hungry. Jungkook frowned slightly because you didn't rest for a long time as baby kept crying after sleeping for hours. Either pee or poo. He was worried that the child in front of him would disturb his wife. So he decided to coax himself, but who would thought that his matter didn't work as baby's crying echoed into the bedroom. What are you thinking about? Quickly hand him over. Only then he carried the child into your arms carefully. Jungkook pursed his lips. He had done a lot of work and thought that coaxing child would be as easy as snapping our fingers, but in actual combat, he discovered that it was not easy. He doesn't even know how to hold a baby. Those tiny body. The body was really small that he could hold with his one hand, but he was afraid of dropping. After drinking, little baby quieted down. The only thing here was baby drinking the gulping the milk down. Jungkook shamelessly leaned over and hooked his arm around your shoulders and looked at the baby very closely. You're really not used to hanging around with a big man like this while this act, but he was very enthusiastic. He kissed your shoulder. Do you need any help? You give him a warning gaze and push him. No need. Can you not stare like that? He was despised because you didn't want his company here. Jungkook nodded. All right, Mrs. Joan. You just gave birth to his son. In the next second, he rolled off the bed. You blankly looked at him. Where are you going? He went into the bathroom without looking back. Take a shower. Then he closed the door. He thought of teasing you, but his wife was off mood and put away his bad thoughts. It would be uncomfortable. He had to adjust himself. The night was very deep, and the noise that belongs to the night gradually faded away. Jungkook didn't sleep but continued to guard. He barely closed his eyes as child would cry with no time. There was a layer of harsh black under his eyes, and his throat was hoarse when he spoke. You felt a little headache. Go to sleep, you suggest him. I am Kim Ro-woon. Then why baby brother is John Eun-woo? Ro-woon pouted. The reason why his surname was after his mother's because he hadn't taken his dad's surname. You felt a little awkward after being reminded by Ro-woon. You hadn't thought about this before and didn't pay any attention to it. Now that you had realized what was going on, you quickly looked at Jungkook. The rule that a child should be taken after his father's surname was a tacit agreement. Therefore, you didn't know what Jungkook was thinking right now. He had tacitly acknowledged Rowoon's name. Your gaze coincidentally made Jungkook's deep eyes, and those eyes carried warmth. What's wrong? He asked that surname. It was little difficult to say, it doesn't matter. He sat beside you as his lips carried a faint smile. It's pretty good on Rowoon. After all, it was you who gave birth to him. What's wrong with it? If child wanted to have mother's surname instead of father's, anyway. After the marriage, you are called by his surname and your little baby adopted that. So you wanted Rowoon to accept it as well. Anyway, the last name is just a code. Nothing really mattered to you and Jungkook. Fame and fortune were not worth mentioning at all. Both only hoped to live a peaceful life in the future with two sons. You didn't think about anything else. Jungkook have no opposition. Instead, he looked at you with a loving smile. Rowoon have your surname and Eunwoo have his. Changing that surname wasn't something that could be done in a short while. So later, he will find someone to settle this matter. Giving birth to Eunwoo was much easier to you than Rowoon. It was probably because at that time your heart was depressed and there was no father and child's encouraging you. So your day was vivid and colorless, but now that you saw Jungkook panicking at the process of giving birth and trying hard to calm himself down and deal with it, his hands were trembling. She felt that the world was filled with all kinds of wonderful colors. You have someone that was afraid of losing you. Jungkook's reaction was always faster than yours of getting up when he heard baby crying, but every time he failed to coax baby. Ravon was also doing silly things to make his baby brother happy. He's trying to learn many things, how to handle child like it's his first ever time seeing tiny body. While you're focusing on feeding little bean, you happen to inhale and plain smell. You wanted to carry out child to change his diaper. Jungkook came closer. What do you want? Let me do it. Well, you might not know. He looked at you deeply. I can learn. Are you sure you want to learn? You looked at him suspiciously. Well, it was not a big deal for him to do these things, but the way he clumsily held baby, like it looked kind of uncomfortable, but then he treated his son, so you let him do. Jungkook naturally took the baby and carried to the sofa. There was baby's little soft bed. You were carrying him. You also have those strange smell. Go and change. Well, as a mother, you were used to having this kind of smell once before, so you didn't take it seriously. There was always this strange smell around the women who gave birth recently. That might be unpleasant for someone who have sensitive nose. Jungkook kind of felt uncomfortable, but he didn't take it to heart. Okay then, I'm leaving this task to you. Good luck. You wave your hand at him and went to wash. Your body shape didn't return to normal, your stomach is still bulging. You felt hungry most of the time as you have to. Little Unwo. Jungkook held the baby, strange smell accompanied him. He finished process of changing diapers as little fellow was crying. He actually broke out in a cold sweat. Previous diapers was mess with poo. He wanted to wipes his sweat, but strange layer of smell covered it. He was holding hard not to throw up. The corner of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. Dad, what are you doing? Ravon walked. I'm changing little Unwo's diapers. Look after him. Jungkook packed the things to throw into a trash bin. He carried the baby into the bed accompanied by Ravon as he wanted to wash his hands and change his clothes. You just finished washing and walked out. Do you need help? He asked. Did you already change his diapers? Yes, Ronnie is looking after him. You nodded when you both walked out of the bathroom. The scene in front melted your heart. The two babies on the bed were sleeping. Their faces were very similar. Both of your sons were looking after their father. Even Jungkook's strong heart skipped at this moment. He sat down beside the bed and adjusted Rowoon's body to sleep comfortably. He slowly laid down beside Unbo. The family of four, the things that happened in the last lingered in Jungkook's mind. You had really suffered a lot, and also those shameless things that he has done in the past. Now he got to know how much sacrifice you did to take care of his elder son. He felt very sorry. In the future, he promised to take care of you and protect you with his life. Mummy, can I sleep here with little Onwo? Rowoon asked politely, hope in his eyes. No, Ronnie is willful and might hurt little Onwo. You see now, Mummy, have little Bean and can't accompany Ronnie anymore. You wanted to tease your son, but who would have thought that Rowoon will take it to heart? Mummy, do you hate me now?